France in the early 1400s was a country on the brink of collapse. For nearly a century, England and France had been locked in a brutal war. Northern France was occupied by English forces. Paris had fallen. The French king was dead, and his son Charles was weak, uncertain, and barely in control of what remained of his kingdom. Many believed France was finished. And then, a teenage peasant girl changed everything. Her name was Jeanne d'Arc, Joan of Arc. She was born in a tiny village called Domremy in eastern France. Her parents were farmers. She never learned to read or write. But when she was around 13 years old, Joan claimed she began hearing voices, not random voices. She said they were the voices of saints, Saint Michael, Saint Catherine, and Saint Margaret. They told her that God had chosen her for a mission to drive the English out of France and place the rightful king on the throne. At first, nobody took her seriously. Why would a teenage girl from a farming village be trusted with the fate of a nation? But Joan was relentless. She traveled for days through dangerous territory to reach the French court. When she finally stood before Prince Charles, she made a bold claim that God had sent her to save France. According to later accounts, Joan told Charles something only he knew, a secret prayer he had made alone. Whatever she said convinced him. Against all logic, the French court gave her armor, a sword, and an army. In 1429, France was losing badly. The key city of Orleans was under siege. If it fell, France would be finished. Joan rode at the front of the army, dressed in armor, carrying a white banner. She did not fight like a normal soldier. She inspired, she prayed with troops, encouraged them, and refused to retreat. Against overwhelming odds, the French forces broke the siege of Orleans. It was a miracle. Then another victory. Then another. For the first time in decades, France was winning. Joan led Charles to the city of Reims, where French kings were traditionally crowned. There, Charles was officially crowned King Charles VII. Exactly as Joan had predicted, a peasant girl had just restored the French monarchy. But victory made Joan dangerous. The English and their French allies viewed her not as a soldier but as a symbol. As long as Joan lived, France would believe it was protected by God, so they hunted her. In 1430, Joan was captured during a battle and sold to the English. They did not want to kill her in battle. They wanted to destroy her reputation. She was put on trial for heresy. The charges were absurd. They accused her of witchcraft, of lying about her visions, even of wearing men's clothing, which they claimed was a crime against God. She was 19 years old. She was interrogated for months by hostile priests and judges. She had no lawyer, no allies, no protection. Yet she never broke. When asked if she knew she was in God's grace, Joan replied, "If I am not, may God put me there. If I am, may God keep me there." It was a brilliant answer, one that avoided the trap they were setting. Still, the court declared her guilty. On May 30th, 1431, Joan of Arc was burned alive at the stake in the city of Rouen. Her last word was Jesus. She was 19. 25 years later, a new court reopened her case. Witnesses testified, evidence was reviewed. The verdict was overturned. Joan was declared innocent. Today, she is remembered not as a heretic, but as a saint. A poor, illiterate teenage girl changed the course of European history. She led armies. She crowned a king. She refused to lie even while facing death. Joan of Arc didn't just fight for France. She proved that belief, real belief, can be more powerful than any army.